Hey guys, LEGO Master 365 here with a different style of video today. As you may know, I have a collection of custom TV series prop models. I've made some videos with some of them, but I do take them to the train shows and events where you guys can see them in person. Well, I don't have a lot of content planned at the minute. Tales of the NWR is done, and I'll be in the middle of bigger projects that you guys will learn about later. So in the meantime, I thought I would do reviews on my custom models where you guys can see the build process, the struggles, and the satisfying end. And what better way to start off this review series than with the one that started it all? Sir Handel. Now some of you might be thinking to yourselves, you started off with narrow gauge? And yeah, I did. In fact, I started Sir Handel way back in January 2020, and I didn't even start my first standard gauge model until 2022. In October 2019, I started collecting the Bachmann narrow gauge line, and by January I had the 3 engines Bachmann made. Those being Skarloey, Rheneas, and Rusty. In December, I got a bulk package from Shapeways, which included Railway Series Thomas shell, a brake van and 2 conflats designed by Ellsworth Productions, and 2 narrow gauge body shells designed by T-Doc, Duncan, and Sir Handel. But it wouldn't be until July of the next year that I was actually able to begin work on Sir Handel. I primed him in flat black and tried sanding him. Being new to modeling, I didn't know how to sand, and a big strip of primer peeled off the body shell, forever leaving a divot in Sir Handel's tank. The next day, he was painted using Krylon Gloss True Blue. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really like Krylon. I don't know what it is about them, but I just never really cared for them. Especially those cans that have that easy removable lids that are actually impossible to take off. Nowadays, I just use Rust-Oleum, and the only time I use Krylon is for faces with gloss pewter gray. Anyway, now that Sir Handel was blue, it was time to sort out his other colors. For black, I always use Deco Art acrylic brush paints. I painted the roof, smoke box, couplings, and buffers black, and the buffer beams red. I don't remember which red I used for Sir Handel because I bought 3 at the same time trying to figure out which one looked nicest. Either way, it was just another brush paint. Next was lining. I line all my models using Fox Waterslide transfers. This is my first time doing lining with transfers, and honestly, I'm very happy with the result. I used reference photos of the actual prop posted by Thomas Tank Merch. I'll leave a link to the Google Drive folder in the description for anyone who wants to use it or just look at it because frankly, it's eye candy. The next thing to sort out was the chassis. The Sir Handel body was designed to fit on a Bachmann Skarloey chassis, and I can say with confidence that no, it was not. The Skarloey chassis had 2 blocks near the cab that needed to be removed before I could add the Sir Handel body. On top of that, I needed to remove much of Sir Handel's floor to allow the chassis to sit inside the body shell, and it still doesn't fit properly. I think the correct course of action would have been to cut away the chassis block, but I didn't want to do that, and now Sir Handel forever sits with his cab raised upwards. Moving on, I spray painted the cylinders the same blue as the body and lined them as well. Around this time, I also replaced the back wheels with wagon wheels because Sir Handel has very tiny back wheels. I had a tiny jar of coal from the Railroad Museum of Pennsylvania just sitting around, so I took a few pieces of coal and crushed it smaller to go in Sir Handel's bunkers. Finally, it was time for faces. Kudak 888 actually designed faces that were made to fit on the T-Doc body and put them on Shapeways, so I finally bought them and painted them with a much too dark slate gray from Deco Art. When I was removing the blocks of metals from the chassis, the wires that connected the circuit board to the pickups broke free of the solder and the chassis could no longer move. So I packaged up the motor and sent it over to Ed's Trains to remove the circuit board and directly connect the motor to the pickups. Sir Handel did not like being without his wheels. Ed sent it back and it worked. Ed accidentally soldered the wires in reverse order, so now Sir Handel goes in the opposite direction he should be going. Which means I could recreate this crash, but now that I know how to solder, I'll be rewiring him in the future. We're now into 2021, and to start off the year, I painted his buffers the slate gray color I used for the faces, because I realized Sir Handel had silver buffers. Whoops. I also began adding his brass detailing. It was tedious. Also note that at some point after the November Edison show, he lost one of his safety valves, and I never bothered to replace it. T-Doc made a new version of the Sir Handel shell that's in scale with the Bachmann models, that has his safety valves, pipe, and whistle as part of the print, so you don't have to worry about modeling that if you don't want to. Personally, I have no clue how I would model the whistle, so I'm fine with my model lacking it. You really don't notice it anyway. Later on in the year, Rexecutions came onto the scene and started making faces for every engine and listing them on Shapeways. I bought a lot of them after a few months and began painting them using Rust-Oleum chalk to aged gray. He eventually released 2 packs of Sir Handel faces, and I bought both. Despite getting the super fine detail versions that Shapeways offered, the eyes were still full of crud and looked awful. So I bought another 2 packs, and they still looked like they had crud in the eyes. At this point I said, whatever, and went through with it. I also at some point got a new pack of Kudak's faces, and Sir Handel sported those for a while, which were also painted with the Rust-Oleum gray. After all this time, it was time for the final details. In August, I purchased Sir Handel nameplates, Falcon nameplates, and number 3 plates from Narrow Planet. Narrow Planet is known for taking a long time with making their plates, as they are custom-etched brass plates. They look stunning, but it can take a long time for them to come. But finally, they arrived, and Sir Handel was complete. After almost 2 years of on and off work, Sir Handel was finally done. My first custom model and my first narrow gauge custom model was done. Of course there's things about him that aren't perfect, such as the divot in the tank, but being that he's my favorite narrow gauge model. Being my first custom, he set a lot of precedents for following models, and each new model sets new precedents. Sir Handel isn't on the same level as Gordon, of course, but without him, Gordon might never have been made. I'm very happy with Sir Handel, and he will always be at the train shows I attend with Thomas and his fans. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to see more of this model, check him out in Tales of the NWR. Or if you're able to, consider coming down to the Greenberg Train Show where I and many other talented creators display our models. We have a show coming up in March, and if you want to see us, consider stopping by. Also, now seems like a better time than ever to say that I have a website. So if you want to see more behind the scenes content, blog posts about models like this, or just a gallery of my work, check out mattctrains.com for all of that. Also, I'm doing commissions, so if you'd like a 3D printed shell, message me through there. But wait, there's more! Starting from the time of this upload, waterslide transfer lining commissions are also now open. If you're interested, please message me through my website on the commissions page. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!